Rust, a sandbox. One will start naked on the beach and strive to become the king of the jungle. How will this 50-hour Joe survive? Luck? Maybe skill? No, this lowly solo only perseveres through one thing: his.
Welcome to Determination, Episode 1. Today's video is the start of a 10-hour Rust adventure that follows my journey in solo Rust with the main goal of figuring out how farming works in the game, as I've never tried to work with it before. Sit back, relax, and enjoy Determination. Once I got my starter base down, I decided to go get some more materials to keep upgrading. Or at least that was my plan, until something unfortunate happened. After that setback, I decided to explore the area away from the base I just built. With farming being my main goal, living over on this side of the map would be a perfect place to live, as there's a lake right over here. So I continued on my horse, farming some materials to get down a base. I chose this base location not only for the lake, but also because the Dome Monument is nearby, and I wanted to try it out after the recent changes, as Dome now has green card and a few more crates littered around. This little lip in the lake would be a perfect spot for me to build my base, as this location is right next to the water and would allow me to do whatever type of farming I needed. However, keeping up with making all these different bases is not cheap, so I headed out to farm some more wood. Now that my TC was looking a little bit healthier, I decided to upgrade my base a little bit to give me somewhat of an airlock. And with this sense of security, I decided to go out on a little bit of a roam to try and get some components and some scrap. However, before I could even make it to the road, I noticed a little decayed base laying here with a locked TC. In my 1,500 hours so far, I've noticed that a lot of times raiders will just leave the TC there, or some people get off the server, and usually those TCs are pretty loaded. So I thought about coming back later with some tools to break it. But not to get ahead of myself, I decided to keep running on the road, getting some loot here and there, and then bringing it home. Once I got back, I was able to get my bag down in the base and go check out the Dome Monument for low grade. With this low grade, I'd be able to get a furnace down and start cooking up some of my metal. Through the cover of night, I thought it would be a good idea to to go to the airfield. However, this bear had different plans for me. I wasn't gonna let this stop me though, as I got right back out there, trying to loot some crates, until I had another unfortunate accident, where I just slipped and fell right off the top. And at this point, I was ready to give it up, but I decided to spawn back in at my other base and bring some of the materials that I got earlier. With these excess materials, I was able to get a tier 1 down and continue to expand my base. I kind of messed up my airlock, as it wouldn't really keep anybody out if I opened the door, but it was more just to get another door down in the base. Because I got those 2 planter boxes from that decayed base, I decided to throw a little thing on the back of my base to start working on my farm. As I'd never made a farm before, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I've seen a couple of T-Guy Tom videos, so just started from there and then worked my way through it. I'm not 100% sure if there's a correct way to place the planters, but I decided to just get them down and figure about that later. After feeling a little bit secure and getting my farm down, I decided to go on a little bit of a roam and hit some nodes with a kit that I got from somebody in the middle of the forest. If you want to see more about that, go check out my shorts page. Also, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to like and subscribe. But getting back to the wipe, on my way to the road, I made sure to pick up as many seeds and berries as possible, as I'd want to use these later on when I set my farm up. I wasn't 100% sure of what berries do what, so I thought I might as well just grab them all and then see what I can do with it. I continued to farm barrels as much as possible until I came across a vital piece in my farming plans: a ceiling light out of a box. That kind of feels weird being said, but for this wipe, it's probably the first time I've ever kept a ceiling light out of a box, as they're kind of useless normally, unless you want to hook up power. After getting back, I deposited all the loot I got, checked out all my seeds, and decided to tech out my base a little bit for further projects, we'll say. With the ceiling light in hand, I decided to go toss that up in my base to provide some light for the plants. However, I was missing the most important part: a solar panel. To solve this problem, I decided to do a little bit of learning by crafting up an engineering workbench and going down the tech tree. The solar panel, lucky for me, is the second thing on there. However, I was missing the main ingredient: a tech trash. And although I had a decent amount of components in my base so far, I had still not looted a green crate up to this point. So that needed to change. Even though this fact, I was kind of addicted to the farming life at this point. So I decided to use some of the meat that I had in my base and set up a little fish trap. But a tech trash wasn't going to magically show up at my door, so I decided to head over to the dome. It felt kind of odd seeing some of these boxes in different places, but I was okay with the extra loot. Checking the green crates, however, I did not receive a tech trash and would have to continue looking around in order to get one. So, unsuccessful, I headed back to my base and deposited all the loot that I gained. After this unfortunate fail, I went over to go check and see what was inside the TC that I found earlier. However, I have an exam in a couple hours, so if anybody's watching this, you'll have to wait for the next video to figure out what's inside. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and look out for the next video to come out sometime next week. Thank you. Oh, and go watch my last video. It only had like 10 views.